Okay, so now we've finally gotten around to doing Futile's first official podcast, and not my little, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll do a test type. So either way, as I say, I'm the one that did the test, so you know me as Famous Jester.
And I'm Imperial Ice.
Our Lord and Master. So basically we're just going to go through some of the publicity that we've been getting, and basically all the other different types of the units, which sort of was going to be the plan, but we couldn't really decide entirely how we were going to do it. So instead, this is our B plan. Wing it. So the fact is, we are pretty much going to make this up as we go along. Good work. So yeah, publicity to start off with. We've been getting quite a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah.
From varying sources, which...
Yeah, we've had...
forget.
We've been on Filefront's Network Insider a couple of times now. The first time was issue 100, and more recently issue 102, which we were pretty much right at the top of. So yeah, that's good. Obviously our publicity is climbing. And we've been on Filefront forums, Relic forums, our own forums obviously. We've been in a number of places.
Plus we've had that guy from Warhammer, well, apparent guy from Warhammer World talking about us,
yeah.
Which is, it's encouraging to say the least, that the actual creators of this marvellous game might be interested in us. So either way, now it's time, we're going to take you around some of the units, start off with the drill, and some other units that we've been working on since then.
Indeed.
Okay, so this is the drill. This is something that I designed when I was originally attempting to design the drone commander, which is now being christened the Gladiator, but I sort of got sidetracked and I ended up making a massive drill, and I then thought, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this, so we put this guy up on the forums, and we just thought of basically making a large subterranean drill, which maybe can be used for transporting units or just doing a hell of a lot of damage, basically.
Alternatively, another thing that me and Ace have been talking about recently is replacing that main cannon on the relic unit in substitute for this drill. And then, because it makes it a bit fairer, and sort of Land Raider, yeah, it's a big tank, but it still only has 4 las cannons on the side, which would then make our relic unit similar in the fact that it does have the 4 guns on the side, 2 either side, and then we'll have the giant drill here for Futile effect and the browning of trousers.
That's right, and thanks to Divine Authority, who taught me about basically unwrapping textures, you know, just like flattening texture maps and stuff in 3D Studio Max. I managed to put together the texture for the drill. It's just like, I don't know, it's just like rusty metal. I figured that if it was going underground and things, I mean, it's not going to look crystal clean, is it? So yeah, that's the drill.
So this is the concept art we've been gleaming from the site by Bad Eric.
Yeah, Bad Eric. I don't actually entirely know how to pronounce that because it's got an H on the end, but you know, I'm just going to call you Bad Eric, and if you one day wonder why the H has gone from the end of your name on the forums, it's probably because I got annoyed not knowing how to pronounce it, so there we go. Anyway,
good dude.
Yeah, this is the concept art that he did for the Gladiator drone, which, to be quite honest, I mean, is brilliant. The standard of drawing is excellent. But, I mean, I'm not going to point everything out to you, it's kind of obvious. I'm not just going to sit here and say, drill, claw. I mean, I'm sure you can make out what everything is.
Paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like a crystal display, but if you want to be technical, which probably Mr. Z does.
Anyway, this is how far we've got with the actual model at the moment. This is the render. So if I just close this, I mean, you can see, here's the model. Now we've had a lot of problems with this guy. First off, there was the issues with the head, which originally people were saying, oh, the head's too boxy, so I tried to make it more rounded, and then once I'd made it more rounded, of course we've got the couple of antennae on the side of his head, and then people start saying, oh, he looks like Optimus Prime, and so I think I'm going to try and go with what Bad Eric's been doing, just take off one of the antennae, leave the other one on. But then you see the problem is now he's starting to look slightly towish.
So people, be warned, you can either pick off one of these three, or he will, I repeat will, have a triangular head.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as textures go on this guy as well, I mean, the only things that we've finished off texture-wise are the missiles, which, I mean, I think the missiles are looking pretty good. I really do. But the rest of it's too blurry, it's too low resolution, and also it's not specific enough. It's just a random metal texture that's been thrown on there. So I'm gonna throw the metal texture on, but then I'm just gonna add more specifics to it. It should end up how we want. So yeah, that's the Drone Commander. Okay, so now we're gonna have a look at the disassembler. This thing has been compared by quite a lot of people to the Necron Tomb Spider, but I mean, I don't honestly think that the two look all that alike. I mean, the Tomb Spider is, for one thing, it's much smaller, much more rounded, and just generally, I mean, the disassembler is much more angular. It's got more obvious ranged weaponry.
More limbs.
Yeah, a lot of claws as well. So, you know, I think they look. I don't see that being a problem. So I think we're just going to go ahead and ignore that. So we can have a look around.
It's also a lot longer than the Tomb Spider.
Yeah, this is true, and also it's for a completely different purpose as well. Especially, I mean, in Dawn of War. As you can see at the moment, the bottom of the model is kind of blank, but I mean, I figure that won't really be very much of a problem, seeing as, I mean, we're not really going to be looking at the bottom of it at all. I mean, I know you've got some units like the Space Marine Predator, which when it's destroyed it sort of flips upside down, but I don't think we're going to be doing that with this unit, so it should be okay. It hasn't been textured at all yet, and I'm well aware of the head issues. Again, it's looking maybe a bit too boxy for the rest of the body. Although it has continuity with the rest of the race, I don't think it really fits the design of the unit, so I think I'll probably be replacing the head. That's about it for the disassembler.
We thought, as it stood, the Futile was somewhat of a ground-based race, and we're thinking maybe about taking them into the air with some vertical takeoff landing aircraft, such as this will obviously act as a bomber, because you've got sort of your engines towards the back there, and sort of a version of the Giga Drill mounted at the front, which will add some sort of effect in at the top there to light a blue light, make it look like a sort of invisible force.
Yeah, some kind of gravitational field, which will have, then it will release, and obviously the drill will go slamming down into the ground on top of buildings or whatever.
Yep.
This also shows our use of SketchUp, doesn't it?
Yeah, this model was one of the ones that was originally designed in SketchUp, then imported into 3D Studio Max.
Yeah, as you can see, we have got a few problems. Like when I turn the model around, some of the polygon faces disappear and reappear and at odd angles. But I mean, I'm sure we should be able to sort that out without too much trouble. So yeah, that's the VTOL.
That brings us to the end of our little podcast. Sorry it isn't longer, and sorry we didn't cover all of the units, but there's only so much we can fit onto YouTube. So other than that, it just leaves us to be thanking everyone for their hard work, particularly Hybrid Reality for the Orbiter.
Divine Authority as well for helping me to learn to texture and all the models that he's been submitting.
Yeah, on a hand for particularly for figuring out exporting things from SketchUp into 3ds Max.
Yeah,
Bad Eric for all his brilliant concept art,
as well as Magical Monk as well. He's been doing some great stuff.
Yeah.
We probably should have had a more in-depth look at concept art, but as we say, we couldn't really fit everything on so far. And I mean, there have been other models posted as well, like things like the Orbiter, which Hybrid Reality has done, and the Walking Infantry Barracks, which I mean we're very excited about. Maybe we'll need you guys to do some kind of podcast on those, because we haven't actually got the models. So yeah, maybe we'll get some other mod team members to do some podcasts at some point.
Yeah, seeing as Ace here does live in Leicester and I live in Hampshire, so we can only really do a modcast together when he's down from university, which isn't too often. So if anyone wants to fill the void in between our little sessions, that would be excellent.